Welcome back to the Appalachian Outfeed. We took a little break because of the weather. You can see the wood pile is still largely intact. We've had several days of just kind of yucky overcast weather, and frankly I just haven't been motivated to get out here and get on the wood pile. But what I have been doing is ditch digging. This is a review I never thought I would do. If you'd have told me 2 weeks ago even that I was going to be doing this review, I would have said you kind of lost your mind. But here we are. So what I want to review of all things today is a hoe. That's right, a hoe. H-O-E. So in the process of trying to clean all these culverts out and dig around them, what I found was a good implement for that was a regular garden hoe. The problem with a regular hoe is the flat blade, and it's not very wide. So I'm reaching in there to scoop up mud and sand, and I'm getting some, but it's kind of falling off the sides. And so I got to looking around on the interwebs to see if there was a better implement out there, and lo and behold, what a world we live in, what a country. I found a better mousetrap, so to speak. So this better mousetrap comes from a company called A.M. Leonard, and apparently they do high-end boutique garden tools. I say high-end just based off the prices. Everything there is a little bit spendy, including this hoe. But in looking around on the internet, this was the best implement that I could find that came closest to what I was looking for. So I was trying to get to more of a scoop than a hoe, and this thing does it. So what you'll see here is the primary attribute of this thing is it's got that's going to be about a 9-inch wide head on this thing. And then this arc here is kind of the secret sauce. So you reach in there and you get you a big old scoop of mud or whatever, and it kind of, when it's coming out like that, it kind of hangs on the head of the hoe and lets you get it out of there without just falling off the sides. Pretty well built piece of gear. Actually, I'm just now noticing this thing actually has a bevel on it right here. But what I was going for was a bigger head, something curved, and this fit the bill. So yeah, this thing I think was 60 bucks before shipping from A.M. Leonard, and I've been giving this thing a little bit of workout. I've had it for a few days, and it's done a really good job for me. So you look at this thing compared to the head of a regular hoe, and you can kind of see the difference, right? Bigger, wider, and way more beefy. I'm not sure what gauge metal this is, but this is every bit of I'm gonna say 3/16 thick metal. And looking at it now, I didn't notice this before, it's actually got a bevel on the front here. That was going to be my one slight criticism of this thing, is that it's not much of a cutter, but I don't think that's really what it's designed for. Although in this ditch I've been cleaning out, there's a whole bunch of very heavy, tough, rooted vegetation in there, and what I found was I can reach in there with the corner of this thing and get in there behind these roots and cut them a little bit, and that's actually been working pretty well. I may actually put a file on this and see if I can actually put an edge on this, but again, I don't think that's the primary purpose of this tool. The only other, well, I've got two other criticisms. You know, this thing's held on here with one rivet. Not sure what I think about that. It's on there okay, but it's actually, well, the wood's swollen up, so it's taking the play out of the head. When I first got it, the head had a little play in it, but I've been digging with it, so the wood wood's gotten wet and it's swollen up and it's taken all the play out. So the only other thing about this is, and this is kind of standard on any mass-produced tool nowadays, the handle has a varnish on it, which I'm not a huge fan of. When it gets to be summertime around here, I'll sand or scrape this varnish off and put some boiled linseed oil on there. Just gives it a better feel. I don't do a lot of this work without gloves, but this just got kind of a slick finish on there, which isn't the best. And that linseed oil will help hydrate the wood and just help it last a little bit longer. So there you go. This is the Titan, T-I-T-A-N hoe from A.M. Leonard. Again, it's about 60 bucks. But if you find yourself with a need to scoop and move a lot of heavy material, this will do the trick. One thing about this, I kind of was thinking maybe it might be bigger with a bigger head on it, but quite honestly, when you're working with this thing the way I am in this muddy, sandy muck, trying to get this out of the culverts and out of the ditches, the amount of material that this thing holds is really about all you want. I kind of came up with a technique, and I kind of one-hand it, reach in there with two hands on the hoe, but kind of end up kind of flinging it out with one hand. And when you're doing that for 15-30 minutes at a time, this holds about as much material as you want to try to fling with one hand over an extended period of time. So the size on this thing is actually not too bad. It's got these serrations on one end. Again, I haven't really seen a huge benefit on that. This other end here is beveled as well. And again, I'll play around putting file on that and see how that goes. But so that's the kind of the desktop review of this thing. We'll walk down to the end of the driveway at that culvert I've been working on down there, and give you a quick demo on this deal. Stand by. All right, so we are down here at the culvert. I don't know if you can tell the progress I've made, but all this mud right here, a lot of this is a result of this hoe. And I'll just demo real quick for those of you who might actually care, all three of you out there. Yeah, so there's some pretty good slimy stuff. Just roll it over, pop it off, and there it goes. See if we can get it. There we go. That's pretty good. Boom. Splat. Just like that. So there we go. And that's about it. It's just a hoe, but for this application, I don't know if I'm coming up with anything that works a whole lot better than this. If anybody cares, we have made good progress getting this culvert cleared out. Tempted to slam the GoPro down in the culvert, but I won't. I was filming around down in there this morning, and that thing's gone from being about half backed up to almost completely clear. Probably got about 10% sediment in there in the bottom of the pipe, and that's pretty good. Way better than it was, and I feel a lot better about this whole deal now, and the ability to keep it clear. That mucky stuff right there, that is the enemy. And that is, I believe, organic material that is turning to dirt, which is great. I just don't need it right here. See, look at that, man. That's a boom, splat. So there you go. A demo of the A.M. Leonard Titan Hoe. Woohoo! 60 bucks. And I think that company's out of Ohio. This thing actually got here in about 2 days after I ordered it. So that's pretty great. So there you go. And so that's gonna end the review on the hoe. Stand by for some bonus footage. So this is kind of crazy. In the process of trying to dig this ditch out a little bit with the new fancy hoe, and actually even with the old hoe, I came across this. So one truism in life is that water is going to find a way. Water is going to find a way to get where it's going. And so what you would think is that water is going to kind of follow this path, but this was a little stopped up, like right up in there. But look at this. That water is absolutely running up underground right there. Maybe you can see it. I guess the camera's picking it up. See that stuff flowing in there? I saw that. I could not believe that. And you come down here, and let me see if I can find where it was coming out. Somewhere from here. So clearing it out. Oh, it was right there. If you look in that hole, that was where you can kind of see some water up in that hole. Before I clear that out to where it'll run in the ditch, water was going in that hole right there, somewhere under this hill, and then coming out right there. Wild stuff. And I found another place with the same kind of situation somewhere else. And there you go, guys. Water's gonna find a way. Which, again, my wife's kind of telling me I'm losing my mind, kind of obsessing over this ditch. But that right there, you know, who knows what that ends up leading to. Maybe that big old rock, it washes out from underneath there. I don't know where all that goes up underneath there. Maybe those rocks end up in our lap one day. I don't know. Okay, so that was just a quick nothing there, but we're going to run back to the pond and show you another little minor revelation that I just had the other day. Okay guys, figured we'd talk while we walk and just look at some other stuff. Heading back to the pond right now, and this is what we call our side hill back here. And all this brush is briars, and I started in all this stuff. About, I don't know, 75% of that has been cut with a brush cutter, but I can't get it to fall over. I got to get a rake in there and haul it off. Every bit of this is stickers, and that's horrible. I believe these trees are black locusts, which I'm kind of stoked about. So my goal, I don't know if I'm going to run out of winter time before I can get this done, but my goal is to get all this stuff cut and or burned. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to make that happen before I run out of cold weather, and I ain't going to be doing this in hot weather. But that's not what we came back here to talk about. So we were back here the other day kicking around, and I came to the realization that my real issue, the thing that's really going to mess me up, is, so we've got our pond back here, right? Super. And like we talked about before, what we've got is runoff. So all this water coming out of that culvert we looked at a minute ago originates back here, up these hills, down this drain, and then down that drain. But you see all this mess right in here, all that sand, that's a problem. Because eventually what's going to happen is, as this water continues to wash and bring sand off this hill back there, it will at some point, I think, fill in this pond. And the way this works is, well, there's an overflow over there we can look at in a second, but just all this runoff is eventually going to fill up this pond. So at some point, I think the hoe at this point is kind of outclassed. I don't think the hoe is going to get it done back here. So I either have to rent an excavator and get back here and dig this out, or I'm going to have to hire somebody to do that. And that's going to be a mess, because the only way to do that is to park on this little dam part right here and dig down in there. I don't think you can get equipment down in there and still get it back out. And the other problem is where to put everything that you dig out. You can see right over there where that sand's running out, and it's just going to keep dumping out until it fills in. It's going to take a long time for that to happen, but this pond is not very deep. Probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet at the deepest part, maybe 6 feet, not sure. And it'll take a while for that to happen, but again, man, water's going to find a way, and it's going to bring all this sediment down with it, and eventually it's going to fill this pond up. So I've got that maintenance in my future at some point. The other tool that I ended up buying from A.M. Leonard is a ridiculously expensive rake. It's not really a rake either. It's actually got serrated blades on there, designed to cut grass. It's just a big, got about a 10-foot long handle with this cross piece on it that has a serrated blade on there, and you float it out there, let it sink, and kind of work it back. I don't have a before picture of this, but it did pretty well. Had all kind of fluffy grass all out there, and that whole stack of grass right there, a little bit right there, some over there. That's probably 30 minutes worth of work. So you can see, got a little bit more to get over there. That stuff comes up a lot easier than this, I don't know what you call it, Johnson grass, Conga grass, whatever it is. Going to kind of clean all that out around there. So that's it. That's life in the big city. All that was in service of this overflow right here, which is what keeps the dam from overtopping, and this is the water supply. Ultimately goes all the way down the property and ends up in that culvert that we were just looking at, which is probably 400 or 500 yards away. So this is where everything originates back here. Not maintenance free, but I feel like if I can get all that dug out back there, dug out really well, that may resolve a lot of issues downstream for quite some time. I'm just a little spooked at what the price tag is going to be to get that dug out back there. Maybe it won't be as bad as I'm thinking. Only other thing we got going on, I say that's not true. One of the other things we got going on, if you see the orange Home Depot bucket up there, right where that hill turns into pasture up there, we planted 14 fruit trees the other day. Something like 10 apple trees, different varieties, and then a couple of varieties of some other trees. And so there's some water in that bucket because there's been water in those trees. Hoping for some rain, actually not rain. In a couple of days, they're promising 96% chance of wintry mix and snow. We'll see. They've made that forecast, I don't know, 3 times in the last little bit, and it has not happened yet. So they can't really predict the weather a couple days in advance, but they want me to believe that they can tell me that the Earth's temperature is going to rise by 1 degree in the next 20 years. Whatever, guys. Okay, well, if you've held on this long, I appreciate it. If you want to hit that little thumbs up down there, that'll help us out a little bit. And if you want to make a little YouTube account and subscribe, so much the better. I appreciate it, and I think we'll be back with some wood cutting pretty soon. Thanks. Have a good one.